I've suffered from sleep paralysis my whole life. If you've never experienced it, imagine waking up but being completely unable to move. Not a finger, not a toe. You're just trapped. Stuck in that horrifying limbo between being asleep and being awake. Your mind is screaming, but your body is a statue. And almost always, you're not alone. There's a presence. A figure in the corner of the room. A shadow that just watches. For me, it started as a faceless silhouette. Over the years, I almost got used to it. It was my unwelcome roommate, a glitch in my brain. Doctors gave me the usual explanations: hallucinations, sleep deprivation, stress. They gave me pamphlets and told me to manage my anxiety. And I believed them. I mean, what else could it be? It was all in my head. Until one night. One night, everything I thought I knew was torn apart. It happened like it always does. My eyes snapped open, and that familiar, crushing weight settled on my chest. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't move. And there it was. My shadow, standing in its usual spot in the corner. But this time was different. The silence in the room felt heavier, colder. The shadow didn't just stand there. It shifted. Slowly, in a way that defied all logic, it began to move. It didn't walk. It crawled. Up the wall, across the ceiling, like a spider made of pure darkness, its form stretching and contorting. My heart was a drum against my ribs. I tried to scream, but only a strangled whimper escaped my throat. I was helpless, a spectator to my own horror story. I could only watch as it scuttled over me, hanging directly above my bed. It was a void, a blot of nothingness that seemed to drink the pale moonlight filtering through my window. There was no face, no eyes, just an endless, suffocating darkness. And then, a voice. It wasn't a sound I heard with my ears. It was a vibration, a cold, metallic thought that drilled directly into my brain. You thought I was just a figment of your imagination. It hissed, the words echoing inside my skull. I fought against the paralysis, trying to force my limbs to obey, to break free. The voice chuckled, a sound like grinding metal. Don't waste your strength. Listen to me. This house is old. You are not the first to live in this room. And you are not the first to see me. A cold I'd never felt before seeped into my bones, a terror so absolute it froze my very soul. The one who lived here before you, the voice continued, its tone flat and devoid of emotion. He saw me too. I gave him the same advice I'm about to give you. But he didn't listen. I could feel a single bead of cold sweat trace a path down my temple. The pressure on my chest intensified, as if the shadow was physically pushing me down. He didn't believe I was real. Just like you. Now, he is silent. He is part of the house's story. And I have come to you. Don't make his mistake. The voice paused, letting the threat hang in the air. Under the floor of this bedroom, it rasped, right in the center of the room, there is a single floorboard. It doesn't creak like the others. It just lies there. Pry it up. Beneath it, you will find the one who was here before you. He's what remains of a man who didn't listen. I couldn't process it. My mind was reeling, trying to reject what it was hearing. This had to be a dream. It had to be. Check, the voice commanded, its presence growing heavier, more oppressive. And when you find what's there, run. Don't look back. Don't pack a single thing. Because I am not the only one who lives in this house. I am just the guard. And with those final, chilling words, the pressure vanished. I shut upright in bed, gasping, my lungs burning for air. The room was empty, quiet. The first hints of morning light were beginning to streak through the blinds. My heart was hammering against my chest so hard I thought it would break. It was just a nightmare. It had to be. The most vivid, terrifying nightmare of my life, but a nightmare nonetheless. I spent the entire day trying to convince myself of that. I went to work, went through the motions, tried to laugh with my coworkers. But the voice, that cold, metallic voice, echoed in the back of my mind. The dread was a physical thing, and not in my stomach that wouldn't go away. That evening, I came home, and I couldn't bring myself to go into my bedroom. I just stood there, on the threshold, staring at the old, wooden floor. My eyes scanned the familiar parquet, the worn-out planks I'd walked on hundreds of times. And then I saw it. Almost in the exact center of the room. One floorboard. It didn't look like the others. It was a shade darker, the wood grain different, smoother. There were no gaps around its edges, no tiny spaces filled with dust. It was flush, perfect, as if it had been placed there recently, set with a precision the rest of the old floor lacked. It was exactly where the voice had said it would be. I've been sleeping on the couch in the living room ever since. I haven't found the courage to touch that board. To see if the guard was telling the truth. Every night, I lock the bedroom door. But sleep doesn't bring peace. Around 3 in the morning, I always wake up. Not from paralysis, but from a sound. A quiet, barely audible scraping. It comes from the bedroom. It sounds like fingernails on wood. As if something under the floor has stirred. As if it's trying to get out. And I know my guard is still in there, waiting in the darkness. Waiting for me to finally find the courage to look. But I have to ask myself, what's more terrifying? Finding out it was all a dream. Or finding out it wasn't. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever experienced something you can't explain, let me know in the comments. And if you want to hear more, make sure to subscribe. Stay safe out there.